What's up with all the crying this season? Brandon is crying on day one as a catfish, and I am aggravated because, babes, $100,000 is on the line. We do not have time to baby anyone's feelings this season. Steffi came in with her white girl tears after she started up a unwarranted beef with Paul, but couldn't take the heat. Lauren is confusing the AI bot personality with a catfish personality, which is messing up her gameplay. Miles should be the AI catcher in the game, but he is just as confused as everyone else. And the fact that Max is getting away with being a lackluster gamer has me boiling. But let's talk about it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you are watching this. Hey y'all, hey. So as you already read the title down below, I'm about to get into season 6, episode 1 through 4 of The Circle. But before I do, y'all already know what to do. Like this video and show your girl some love. Comment your thoughts because I know you already have them. Hit that notification bell and of course subscribe and join the Queen of Bible. So this season, they are adding a AI bot to the game, which I honestly wasn't too happy about when I heard about it because we want to see real people with real thoughts and real feelings. I am not trying to see no damn robot. That's boring. Also, what would happen if the bot wins the game? So no one gets the money? Hell no. But one thing we can always count on when it comes to this show is all the plotting and twists and turns, which is why we are always going to keep coming back to this crazy social experiment. So first we get introduced to Cal. I am excited about Cal because he is from Miami. But then again, I don't know what part of Miami he is from or if he's a transplant to Miami. Because you know, everybody don't really be from Miami. They probably just live in Miami. But nonetheless, I am rooting for him and hope he does good because Lord, people from Miami on these type of shows be fighting for their life to stay in the game, okay? So Cal is playing the game as a basketball trainer because he doesn't want people to know he was a basketball player. Boy, bye. Be for real. I am sure no one would care if you said you was a basketball player overseas. It's 2024. We know y'all not getting to the bed like that, so it would have been fine. But needless to say, he is playing himself and not a catfish. Then we meet Lauren, who is from Philly, and she's a gamer. So I feel like she's going to be very strategic and will know how to communicate well since she probably does it a lot as a gamer. So, you know, she gonna do good. Lauren is also playing herself and not a catfish, but in her bio, she put that she is a Twitch streamer. So I think that would mess up her game. Because if it's someone like me entering the circle, I will want her out immediately because of that. She should have held that close to her chest. Like, if you coming off as a gamer, I'm going to think you for to be strategic, so you need to get out immediately. Next, we meet Miles, who is a AI engineer, and he's another one who should have held that information close to his chest. But I feel like he is going to be very blunt in the game, and I don't know if he's going to irritate me or if I will like him. I don't know. I still got to feel him out. But needless to say, he is playing himself in the game and not a catfish. The next big player being introduced is Brandon. And off rip, I am like, okay, he is going to be very goofy and maybe the person that says some crazy wild shit on the show. I can tell he likes to use jokes as a way to deflect from things, and that may work on the show for entertaining purposes. So Brandon is actually going to be a catfish, which I kind of figured the moment he popped up on the screen. He looks like the type of person that catfish people for fun in his everyday life. So it's going to be hilarious seeing him play a girl named Olivia. Now that we are introduced to the first 4 players, the circle chat opens and they all start talking. And immediately Miles clocked Olivia as a catfish. And it's crazy because I thought I wasn't going to like Miles. But baby, when that happened, I was team Miles off rip because he is on it and putting his little techie brain to use. But after Miles caught on to Olivia being a catfish, boom! So did Lauren right after that. And I'm just like, poor Brandon. It is not looking too good for him already. And maybe he should have gone in the game as himself. Because if you are going to play a hot white girl, you have to give up hot white girl energy in the chat. And he is failing at that big time. So as those four are talking in the chat, more players enter the game, which is Casey from Kentucky, who I believe will be funny and blunt because she is a mom. Plus, I love her little country accent. Casey or Cassie? I think I would like Cassie because of the story she told about when she caught her boyfriend or ex-husband, child, whatever. But she caught him cheating by being a catfish, trying to hook up with him, and he fell for the trap. Which I'm trying to figure out, why did she do that anyways? But needless to say, she probably knew he wasn't shit. But anyways, that was a crazy story, and I'm happy she caught on to him because clearly he was a bum. Like, how do you get caught cheating on your wife with a fake profile? That just screams desperate and boy behavior. But needless to say, Cassie is going to play herself and not a catfish. Next, we get introduced to Steffi, who is going into the game as herself, and she says she is a psychic, and that's going to help her play the game. And I can't wait to see how she moves in the game, because if you are a psychic, I need to see if you are going to find the catfish or not, or if you make the right decisions based on your little psychic powers. Then lastly, we get introduced to Caress, who is playing a catfish, and she will portray her younger brother Paul. And this should be chaotic as hell, because I feel like anytime a straight woman plays a straight man, or a straight man plays a straight woman, they usually have the hardest time in the game, because when they get in a all boys all girls group chat, they usually wouldn't know what to say depending on the conversation, or their wording for certain things would be off. So I'm ready to see how she plays the game. So once we get introduced to those three, they enter the chat and instantly they start coming in hot and hyped. And again, Olivia would say something that seems so off. So now we have Brandon in his room crying these tears because he feels like the game is too hard. Baby, this is not the time for tears. You need to go sit down and think of a damn master plan to win the game. We are not babying anyone this season. Moving on, they started to play a game called For Real For Real. And one of the questions was, would you date someone who has an OnlyFans? And of course, the two black people said no, and everyone else said yes. And that was so funny and so on brand because, man, let's be for real. We are not with the shits when it comes to what OnlyFans is being used for. Like, not in this household. Then there was another question about snitching on your friends if they cheat. And everyone said no, they wouldn't say anything about it. And Miles was the only one who said he would say something. And in my mind, I'm like, that's going to hurt him in the long run because it comes off like you can't be trusted. And the irony is, he definitely comes off like someone that can't be trusted and that he's only in it for himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does something slimy later in the game. Moving on from the For Real game, Kyle jumped in a chat with Lauren and they instantly hit it off after he was acting like he didn't want to flirt with her because he's engaged or married. But child boo, Lauren kind of favors his girlfriend, so he is not slick. But their conversation was good, so I can see them probably having each other's back. But during their conversation, Paul popped up wanting to talk to Lauren as well. And even though things should have went good with their conversation, it didn't. And it ended off with both of them thinking each other was catfish. And to be honest, I think that is Caress' fault because she is talking like an older woman. Her conversation isn't fun and it isn't hip, especially if she is portraying a younger boy that's a rapper. It's just coming off old and dated. Let me just say this. There is a lot of conversations going on, and I feel like the one group chat that should have been started was one with all the guys. I think they are so busy trying to play single and flirty that they are missing the opportunity to start a boys group. But anyways, it's time for their first ratings, and I can't lie, I was so shocked about it because it was totally way off than what I thought. So Paul was rated the lowest, which is crazy because I thought it would have been Olivia or Kyle. So that means Caress is doing a terrible job. And like I said, building bonds with the wrong people. But the fact that Olivia went from being the most suspect person to the first influencer was mind blowing. Like, what the hell am I missing? But more importantly, what are they missing that they let that happen? Clearly, no one is truly paying attention to the game because the moment she came off as a catfish, I would have been on on her ass. And Lauren was an influencer as well, which made sense because it seemed like a few people liked her. But what I liked about this rating was the fact that they weren't going to vote anyone out, because I feel like it's just too early in the game to be voting anyone out. But they do have the opportunity to bring 2 new people into the game. So one player was this girl named Corey Taylor, aka QT. And the other player was the AI bot that they've been talking about forever when it comes to this season. But all I know is Caress better thank the heavens above, because I bet my last dollar that her profile would have been the first one to get blocked. Okay, now that the AI bot is in the game, I don't know how I feel about it, because it is too freaking perfect to the point that it's scary. Like, this can really be our future. Literally, everyone is buying what Max is selling, and everything Max is selling is fake as hell. But moving on, Olivia starts a chat with QT, basically hinting at wanting to start a all-girls alliance, and adds Casey in on the plot. And they talk about getting rid of the boys, and I find it funny because in the first episode, I said the guys were dumb for not instantly starting a all boys alliance, because it was a few of them, so it would have made sense for them to stick together. But boys' minds move so slow, so of course they were delayed. But anyways, I don't think the all girls alliance will fully work because it's just too many of them. But anyways, the boys end up starting a chat and decide to create a all boys alliance finally. But Max, aka the AI bot, doesn't want to be in a all-male alliance because his information says it's not a good move. Yet he still has to play it off like he is. And baby, all I know is this is going to get real messy, and if nobody don't clock it, that's a problem. But beyond that, Caress has been pissing me off because every time she starts to build a bond with someone or start a conversation with someone, they start to feel sketchy about her profile. And then on top of that, when they were playing the little rapping game, her ass low-key exposed that the boys had a alliance, trying to do too much. Like, girl, relax. This is still a game, and you have to hold some cards, if not all your cards, to your chest, which is why I like QT so far. I don't know, things may change, but I like QT so far because she is really playing the game, but still trying to be, cutesy in a way. Needless to say, Paul had a conversation with Cal, and it seemed like it all went well. And they were saying that they are going to continue to have each other's back, even though Paul has had the heat on him since the beginning of the show. But even more now because Steffi called him out during one of the games. But what got me is when Circle told them that one of the players was an AI bot, which is honestly whack. What's the purpose of bringing an AI bot if y'all gonna tell everyone that there's an AI bot in there? Like, damn, y'all already spilling secrets about it. But needless to say, once they got the word on that, Paul felt like Kyle was the AI bot, which is mind-blowing to me because you just went to him crying and trying to use him as a armor, as a protection. So how the hell did your mind go to that being your partner in crime to now, oh, you may be an AI bot? Like, what the hell is going on? Caress gameplay is just all over the place. So now that it's a new day and everyone wants to get to the bottom of the whole who is in AI situation, Paul and Cal have a private conversation, and the whole chat pissed me off so bad, and it's mainly coming from Paul's profile. So the thing is, Caress wants to keep running to Cal, talking about strategic plans and things of that nature, but she seems so eager and antsy, and she's not even thinking from a standpoint that people may have the assumption that the Paul profile may be a catfish or the AI bot, which in this case is what Kyle is feeling. In Kyle's mind, he's like, yeah, I like you, bro. You cool and all, but I don't know what you got going on. So let me try to scope you out just a little bit because I don't know you. I don't really know you like that. So the way that Kyle tried to peep if Paul was real or not was by asking a question that relates to LA. But instead of Caress just answering the damn question, which was easy as hell to answer, she decides that it may be a good idea to avoid it overall with a different type of response. Like, girl, what? Why would you do that? That made you look way more suspicious. So now the two of them are skeptical about each other, and that's going to eventually hurt their game. Because how do y'all have a all boys alliance and y'all already cracking? Like, oh my God. So while everyone is on their strategic gameplay, QT and Miles is around here flirting, child. And I feel like Miles low-key got QT to open up and show her cards, which is wild to me because she was just tight-lipped when she had her conversation with Paul. Now, don't get me wrong, because clearly Paul doesn't have any type of gameplay, but the fact that she was so easy with Miles after their conversation got me worried about her just a little bit. Granted, it may work out in her favor, but I am not sure. I feel like she should have waited him out just a little longer. But she was just so easy with Miles. But moving on, they started to play this game that is supposed to showcase the player's human-like qualities. But if the AI bot has a way of knowing the way humans think and respond to things, it is clear as day that it can bypass this damn test. Also, I just think it's a dumb way of figuring things out because when people come from different cultures and backgrounds, they talk and react differently to things. But that doesn't mean they aren't human. It just means someone else can't relate to what they say or do or act. Child, all I know is Steffi has a target on her back and no one is letting up on her. And to be honest, she did it to herself when she brought negative energy by trying to call out Paul during the rapping game. She did it too soon, so now everyone is side-eyeing her and no one is side-eyeing Matt's ass. And I feel like Brandon may have his suspicions, but he never goes with his intuition or never goes with his gut feeling. So he's not going to call it out. He's going to play pussy. Bleep that. So after the human game test, QT and Lauren have a chat and then invites Paul in, and basically QT and Paul feel like Steffi is the AI bot like most of the other players. So Lauren is starting to feel left out or feel like she is missing something because she thinks that Paul is the AI bot. But the thing is, Paul doesn't give AI. He gives catfish, and I think Lauren is confusing the two. I think Lauren is like, oh, he's being really weird, is giving catfish, but in her mind, she's also saying AI bot. Like, it's weird how she's thinking about it or going about it. But needless to say, in their chat, they all basically say it has to be Steffi, and Caress is happy that she is getting the target off of her profiles back. But the thing is, if Steffi is voted out and people realize that she is indeed human, the target is going to flip back on Paul. I just know it. That's if Paul isn't the first one to get out. So if Steffi gets out first, it's going to flip on Paul. But if Paul gets out first, then it's going to flip to Steffi. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be real crazy. But beyond that, I am so confused and curious why we haven't seen no one starting a private chat with Max since he's been in the game. It's like they all are just letting him skate by. But one thing about it, Paul ass be ready to get in some mess. So his profile was the first one we seen have a private chat with Max. And of course, Max was able to persuade Paul, like he persuaded Lauren, that it might be Steffi. So it was an answer Caress liked. So that was all she needed to hear. She didn't even try to dig deeper. After it was all said and done, the person that was voted the most human-like player was Miles, which is so funny because Miles really has been chilling, and now out of nowhere, he is one of the most liked people in the game. So now he has to vote someone out the game, which he don't want to do. I don't think no one really wants to do that, especially like you have to do it solo. Also, let's be honest, Miles has already told us that he is an AI engineer, so that may have played a big role in people voting him high because he has the expertise. So he should be the one to scope it out. So before it's time for Miles to vote, they play a game where they get to upload a photo that will basically showcase some personality from the players, and baby, things get heated. So for one, when Kyle uploads his photo, QT randomly throws a hint out that he may be AI just because the photo is a little far back. But girl, what? That was so odd. Like, that reason does not make any sense to me personally, especially because we know how guys are when they take photos, especially guys that really aren't, camera people and they're camera shy. So she threw me off when she did that. But to be honest, QT been throwing hella random shots at black boys. Clock it. And then Max posted a picture and Miles called out how he's not really showing any personality because he's not smiling, and he has on like shades, which I feel like was a good observation. And on top of that, It was another animal photo. But guess what? QT didn't say anything about that though. She worrying about a picture, somebody's picture being far back, but you ain't worrying about how Max look in his photo. Girl. And then after that, Paul dropped the photo, which I thought was a good photo based on the topic at hand, which was showing your personality. But I think Paul has dug himself so far into a hole that no matter what he do or say, no one will like him. No one would like it or him. And that happened when he dropped his photo. Most of them felt like it was very fake and very stock images like. And of course, Paul and Steffi is beefing right now. So Steffi called Paul out, basically saying Paul is fake as and she don't want to entertain it. Baby, she is not here for Paul at all. And the crazy thing is, she is mad at him for coming at her when she was the one that came at him first for no reason. Listen, I am here for all the heated drama. I can't lie. But what pissed me off is that when Steffi dropped her photo, of course, Paul had to come back at her since she did the same thing to him. But of course, when he said his piece about her photo, all of a sudden, Steffi wants to start crying. Girl, please, ain't no one falling for that. You started this. You don't get to cry. So stand on business. So once the game was over, Steffi started a conversation with Olivia, basically stating how her feelings were hurt. Boo-hoo, girl. But Olivia is team Steffi, so she was trying to comfort her. And then afterwards, Olivia went to Miles to try and talk on Steffi's behalf and persuade Miles to not vote out Steffi. And then boom, here comes Lauren, wanting to do the same thing, trying to start a private chat with Miles as well to basically, speak on Steffi's behalf. Listen, at this point, I am aggravated because everyone is trying to talk for Steffi, but she needs to be doing her own bidding. What the hell? But one thing I like about Miles is that he ain't got time for the games. He just added everyone into one big group chat to see what they all had to say, since everyone is, trying to plead for their friend. So after all of that, they all had to play a game called You Robot, where they basically got to lay it all on the table and say who is the person in the game they believe is AI. And this is where things get juicy because we already know what most of them is thinking, but now they have to put it out in the open for the group. So far, most people are saying they think it is Steffi. But what was odd to me is when it was Steffi's turn, she said that she feels like Kyle is the AI bot. Like, girl, what? This is the inconsistencies everyone be talking about when it comes to Steffi. But I also feel like the reason why Steffi said Kyle is the AI bot and not Paul is because she may feel like Paul is a catfish, but that isn't the task right now. The task is finding out who is the AI bot. So I respect her for that. But to be honest, girl, you need to go with the choice that would keep you in the game longer. But Olivia, who has been up Steffi's ass, did the same thing as her leader and decided to vote for Kyle as well. Like, what? This is also random. Like, at this point, I'm just confused. The crazy thing about them voting for Kyle is that QT was the one to start the whole narrative that Kyle may be AI. And she didn't even vote for him. She voted for Steffi. So it's like, girl, what was your reason? But one thing about it, Kyle knows that since his name has been thrown out there now, he has to fill the scene out. So he decided to start a chat with QT to see where her head was at. And she goes to tell him that she didn't mean anything by that and that she just wanted to spice the game up a little. But girl, you are a lie, because in this game, any little thing would have people suspicious or creating a narrative on somebody. So stop lying and be real. And on top of that, girl, don't be throwing my damn name out there to spice things up. You could throw anybody's name out there. Why would you throw mine, girl? So after their talk, we get to see Max, Miles, and Paul have a chat, and everything about it was so off and awkward. I feel like Miles was giving Paul an opportunity to open up and plead his case, and he didn't do that. Similar to when he had the conversation with Kyle. He did not open up and just was being very vague and not giving anything to the group. So Miles, being as blunt as he is and straightforward, said, listen, bro, you basically giving me nothing and it's coming off a little sus. And I love that, but sheesh. And then within all of this, Max is saying nothing. And he's just in the chat. being quiet, and then when he do say something, it's so random, it makes no sense, and then he just leaves the chat. And even with Max doing all of that, no one is questioning his behavior. It's so weird how they are just letting him skate by. It's really pissing me off. But of course, by the end of the 4th episode, we don't find out who Miles choose, and we have to find out during the next special episodes, you know, what his choice was. But to be honest, I feel like he's going to go with Steffi because she had the most votes, and he probably want to play it safe. I don't know. We shall see, because it's just all over the place. I really don't know anybody's game plan. It's so weird this season. Anyways, that's enough of my rambling. I want to hear from y'all. So like this video and show your girl some love. Sound off in the comments with your thoughts and let me know how you felt about these 4 episodes. Hit that notification bell, and last but certainly not least, subscribe and join the Queen of Bible. Bye.